Croeso pawb to the Essential Picks PSN sale. This sale ends on the 17th of March, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Okay, let's look at the games. First up is A Way Out. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 67% discount for a price of £8.24, which isn't bad. This is a third-person action adventure, and it's basically the ultimate co-op game, where you and a friend play as Leo and Vince, who reluctantly team up in order to escape prison together. And that isn't the end to their adventure either. Once you get out, there's more story to get into, and it promises to be an emotional one as well. What's really cool about this game is only one of you needs to own it. If you have it, you can play with other people without them actually buying the game, which is super cool. You can just send them an invite, and then they can download the game and play along with you. They won't be able to play on their own, obviously, but if you've got a copy, they can play with you for nothing, which is really awesome and cool. More games should do this, really. But let's face it, they won't, because money, right? This game was made by the developer of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which was a really cool indie game that also revolved around playing two characters at the same time. Although that one was more of a solo affair than this one, but it was still really good. This is a really cool and unique game, specifically for co-op, so if you've got a friend to play games with, or even a partner, then you'll love playing this together. Next up is City Skylines Mayor's Edition. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of $21.24, which sounds like a lot of money, because it is, but it's down from $84.99, and it includes a ridiculous amount of DLC, so it's really not bad at all. This edition of the game includes most of the DLC, so in total it includes 6 expansions, 3 building packs, and 5 radio stations, which is a ridiculous amount of DLC. It's 2 season passes worth. That's crazy. In this game you get to build and manage the city of your dreams, planning road networks, power grids, plumbing, districts, parks, everything. And alongside the building you also balance your city's requirements, such as education, utilities, healthcare, economy and more. This is hands down the best city management sim. SimCity is no longer the king, and it hasn't been for a long time. This is the game we deserved, not the rubbish game we've had to put up with for so long. So if you're a fan of city management games, you should own this, you really should. And if you haven't played one of these before, then why not check out the base version, because that's on sale as well, for £8.74, so it might be worth a try at that price. And then you can always pick up the DLC and deals later on. Far Cry 4 Gold Edition is next. It was released in 2014, so it's 7 years old, and is on a 67% discount for a price of £14.84, which is a bit pricey, but it includes a ton of DLC, so it's actually quite a good deal. This edition includes over £30 worth of DLC, so the DLC itself is worth double what they're asking for it, and that doesn't even include the base game either, so it's a really good deal. It includes the Valley of the Yetis and Escape from Durgash campaigns, along with the hard deluxe pack of missions and weapons, the Overrun PvP mode, and an exclusive single-player mission as well, so there really is a massive amount of DLC included. In this game, you play as Ajay Gale, travelling to Kirat hidden deep within the towering Himalayas to fulfill your mother's dying wish. But soon after arrival, you find yourself caught up in a civil war to overthrow the oppressive regime of dictator Pagan Min. This game is from a very big franchise of open-world first-person shooters, and I have to say it's definitely the most popular one of the recent games, and probably the best game in the entire franchise. If you've never played a Far Cry game before, or you're looking for a good first-person shooter, you can't go far wrong with this. Definitely take a look at it. Up next is my star buy, Final Fantasy VII. It was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, but it was originally released in the 90s, so it's really old. This game is on a 50% discount for the price of £6.49. Now I have to say, this game is on sale quite often, but it's never usually this cheap. It's usually a pretty pathetic discount, so this is actually a really good discount for this game. This is the lowest price I've ever seen it at. Now you should know this game, but if you don't, it's probably the most famous JRPG ever made, from the most famous series of JRPGs ever made, that started way back on the Nintendo Entertainment System and are still going today. That's how good and popular they are. This edition is a port of the PC version, which had better graphics and sound than the PlayStation 1 edition, so you're getting the best version that was released at the time. And this game is absolutely epic. I mean, it was so epic that back in the day, on PlayStation 1 it came on 3 discs, which is ridiculous. I don't think I ever seen another game that needed 3 discs to play. This game is set in the city of Midgar, where you play as a mercenary called Cloud Strife, who gets contracted to help a group of eco-warriors conduct raids to disable the city's Mako energy reactors. These eco-warriors believe that the reactors are draining the very life force of the planet, and this is the start of a journey that is more vast and epic than you could ever have imagined. Seriously, you won't have any idea of the scope of this game until you've completed it. It's massive. This is my star by just because it's an amazing game in general. It really does deserve all the praise and fame it's had over the years. If you've played the recent remake, do yourself a favour and buy this and play this, because the remake looks like it might be going a bit off the rails to me, especially story-wise. And if you've never played this game before, or you've never played a Final Fantasy game before, then you could definitely start here, if you're willing to overlook the graphics of the time, because the story and gameplay still holds up today. It's not every day you get to play a legendary game of this caliber. But if you're still not sure, then check out the next deal instead. Oh look, another Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster. This was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, but they're remakes of older games than that, so keep that in mind. This is on a 50% discount for the price of £12.49, which is pretty good, considering it's got 2 full games included in it, and massive ones at that. It has been on sale for about £10 before, but that was once, and it was a long time ago, so you might have to wait a while if you want a better discount than this. The 2 games included in this are pretty unique, because they were the first Final Fantasy games to be direct sequels of each other. Usually every Final Fantasy game is a completely standalone story and game. And because they're much newer than some of the other Final Fantasy games, they have much more modern graphics and gameplay mechanics. But on top of that, they're remastered as well, so they're really good versions of these games. In 10, you play as Tidus, a Star Blitzball player whose city is destroyed by an immense creature known as Sin. And after this event, he ends up joining the summoner Yuna on her pilgrimage to destroy the Sin monster. While in the sequel, you play as Yuna the summoner from the first game, searching for Tidus, while attempting to prevent a political conflict in Spyra escalating into a war. It even features multiple endings, which is very uncommon in a Final Fantasy game. Both of these games are epic, shining examples of the Final Fantasy series, and they feature very unique leveling and class-based systems, which are different from game to game as well, so you get a different experience with both of these. And as is common with Final Fantasy, these games are massive in scale. So if you buy these games, you'll have literally hundreds of hours of gameplay. Like, you might even never complete them. It's just ridiculously huge, these games are. If you're a Final Fantasy fan and you never played these, you should definitely look at them. And if you've never played Final Fantasy before, these are a really good way to get into them. Because they're more modern, you won't have to overlook the graphics, etc. from the older games. But you'll really get a sense of what it is to play a Final Fantasy game. You really will. And also, while you're looking at these, 8 and 9 are on sale as well. So if you've missed out on 7, 8, 9 or 10, then take a look because there's a lot of them on sale right now. The next game I have for you is Just Cause 4 Gold Edition. It was released in 2019, so it was 2 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £12.49, which again is higher than normal, but again it includes a massive amount of DLC, so it's a good deal really. This edition includes over £40 worth of DLC, including 3 full expansions, the Neon Racer car pack, Black Hand Stealth Jet, and 4 weapon packs. So like I said, that's a massive amount of extra content included. In this game, you play as Rico Rodriguez again, returning to the land in Solace to hunt down the truth about his past at any cost possible. This game is a ton of fun. You utilize a bevy of weapons, vehicles, explosives, and customizable gear such as wingsuits, parachutes, grappling hooks, all sorts of fun stuff. I really can't stress enough how much fun these games are. You won't have any better open world action fun than in this game series. With the parachutes, grappling hooked explosives, you can do crazy stuff, like grapple a car to a building, so that it gets pulled up the side of the wall and then explode it. Or you can grapple an explosive tank to the floor so it gets pulled over and blows up half the city block. It's just crazy fun. You really can't beat the mad, chaotic fun in this game. If you're one of those guys that buys Grand Theft Auto and then just spends all their time running around the city with a rocket launcher blowing things up and causing mayhem, then this is the game for you, it really is. Just buy it and have fun. You'll thank me later, I promise. The next game is for PS Plus members only. Mad Max. It was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 50% discount for the price of £7.99, which is really good. This is a third-person open-world action game that's based on the cult classic movies that originally made Mel Gibson a star back in the day. In this game, you play as Mad Max himself, living in an apocalyptic wasteland where cars are the key to survival. and by fighting your way through the wasteland, scavenging for supplies, you get to build and customize your ultimate combat vehicle. This game includes very unique car-based combat, as well as the standard third-person action that you're used to from these sorts of open-world games. It may not be the best open-world action game you've ever played, but if you love cars, or you're a fan of Mad Max, then you'll have a lot of fun with this. For such a cheap price, it's pretty cool. We have a VR game next. No More Heroes VR. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 67% discount for the price of £8.24, which is really good for a VR game. This is a VR real-time strategy game with no move controller support, which is a bit of a shame because I can imagine it being a little bit more fun to play with move controller support. But hey, I'm not going to hold it against it. In this game, set in the No More Heroes universe, you become the god of destruction, calling forth demonic powers to turn the tide of battle. Plus you also get to breed and experiment with over 16 different monsters before unleashing them upon your enemies. RTS games are really rare in VR, and as far as I'm aware there's only 2 of them on PlayStation VR. So if you're a fan of RTS and you love VR, you don't really have many options. And obviously the game will appeal more to you if you're a fan of the No More Heroes franchise. But if not, and you're looking for an RTS in VR, then at least look at this, because like I said, you haven't got many things to choose from. South Park The Stick of Truth is up next. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, but it's a remaster of an older game really, so keep that in mind. And it's on a 67% discount for a price of £8.24, which isn't bad, but this game does go on sale quite often, and it's usually quite a rubbish discount, so this is the first time I've seen it at a decent discount. So if you've been waiting for it, this is the time. One thing I have to say about this game before we continue is that it's censored. In the UK, all versions of the game apart from the PC version was censored. So if you want the full uncensored game, you have to buy it on Steam, which obviously I never usually talk about, but considering it's censored and it's South Park, so you're kind of here for the fun and giggles, then if you want all of it, you're going to have to buy it on Steam. Which is a shame because it wasn't censored in America, so it's literally like Ubisoft are just punishing European gamers because they want to be idiots, I guess. This is an RPG game where from the perilous battlefields of the 4th grade playground, a young hero will arise, destined to be South Park's saviour by discovering the lost stick of truth. You get to create and customize your own character, and then you play alongside all the South Park characters you know and love, equipping them with legendary weapons in order to defeat the underpants gnomes, hippies, and other forces of evil. This game was written and voice acted by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, so it's literally a dream come true for South Park fans. And pretty much the only thing that's putting me off about this game is that it got censored. I mean, that's just really stupid. They should just re-release it uncensored considering they've got that version in America. It just really annoys me they shouldn't have censored it. What a bad decision, Ubisoft. You really have no idea what you're doing, do you? It's almost like you should never have published a South Park game if you were worried about what was going to be in the game in the first place. You're a bunch of morons. On to the next game, Surviving Mars First Colony Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £15.89, which again is higher than I normally recommend, but again, like many others in this sale, it includes a ton of DLC. This particular edition includes over £30 worth of DLC expansions and content packs, which is a ridiculous amount. It adds a space race mode, where you compete with other colonies on Mars, terraforming to convert Mars into a habitable planet, and a load of events, pets, livestock, mysteries, vehicles, buildings, mission sponsors, and more. It's an epic amount of DLC included. In this management game, you command an expedition to colonize Mars, and get to build your own enduring society. You manage and build the colony itself, while dealing with the unique traits of your individual colonists as well. Their wants and needs, that sort of thing. And along the way you get to uncover hidden mysteries on Mars itself, which is pretty different and unique. It's a cool location and theme for a city management sim. It really is. I mean, if you're a fan of city management games, you've got a few things to pick from this month, and this definitely looks like a good option. Our next game is a maybe, Until Dawn. It was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and is on a 50% discount for a price of £7.99, which is really good. But the reason this is a maybe is that it's included in the PS Plus collection for free. And if you don't know what that is, it's a bunch of games you get for free for buying a PlayStation 5. So if you're considering selling your soul to get hold of a PS5, then you probably don't want to buy this, just get it for free along with it. But if you're not looking to get a PS5, then take a look at this game. This is a story-driven adventure where you control 8 friends who return to an isolated mountain lodge 1 year after 2 of their friends mysteriously disappeared there. And unfortunately for them, not too long after they arrive, things take a sinister twist as they split up and nobody knows what's happening or even who's alive. You take turns controlling different characters and experience the story from multiple perspectives, making multiple decisions that significantly impact the story and its endings. And ultimately your objective is to make it to dawn with as many of the friends alive as possible, while trying to work out what's going on along the way. I've completed this game, and I really enjoyed it. It's pretty cool, and even has some real stars playing the characters, including Hayden Panettiere, who was the cheerleader from Heroes, so it's got some star power as well. I'd recommend it if you like story-driven games, with multiple decisions and endings, unless you're sacrificing chickens trying to magic up a PlayStation 5. In that case, good luck with the ritual, and when you get it, you'll get the game for free. And the final game I have for you is for PS Plus members only, Yooka-Laylee Buddy Duo Bundle. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £11.99, which is pretty good for 2 games. This includes the open-world 3D platformer Yooka-Laylee, and a 2D platformer Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. The first game was inspired by old Banjo and Kazooie games, and is very similar to them in gameplay. So if you like them, or games of that genre, you'll love this. Where you play as Yooka and Laylee, a chameleon and a bat who team up to explore huge worlds, meeting a host of characters to thwart the evil capital B, and finding a host of collectibles along the way. The second game, as I said, is a 2D platformer, and it was made by some of the original developers of the Donkey Kong Country series, which is pretty high praise, right? And in that game you play as the same characters, on a 2D platform and adventure that has a 3D overworld between levels. All in all, this looks like a good bundle for fans of old school games, or for people who are maybe looking for games to pick up for a kid. They'll probably like this too. And that's all the games I have for you for the Essential Picks PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? If you liked them, give the video a like. And if you didn't like them, then throw your complaints in the comments and we can argue about it later. And that includes the star buy too. Did you think I picked the right game, or do you think something else should have been chosen instead? Anyway, I hope you guys found some games you liked. And more importantly, I hope you guys saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Heil Vaur.